and gentlemen, the following podcast is scheduled for one fall. Introducing your hosts, Kids at Hart.
Ooh,
I did it.
We got it.
Last episode, I did not have this under control. You thought maybe we were going to get a surprise Lesnar there. Not even just Chris Anthony Lopez. Maybe some diehards of the show thought they were about to get surprise Lesnar. No, you weren't going to get surprise Lesnar. You won't know when surprise Lesnar is coming. But hello, everybody. Welcome back to another live Wrestle Reels number 23.
Number 23, ski of Wrestle Reel. That is the Ayatollah of rock and roll and Nick Mulbach. I am the road to Wrestlemania, Anthony Lopez. And we are over here rocking on this Friday. I mean, it's the last Friday of March. We're this close to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like this close.
Oh boy.
And it's getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And I know we typically aren't a news program. But I feel like for the sake of the show today, we had to be, which we won't do it. We won't do it anytime soon, though. Not again. Not anytime soon. No. But for now, we'll let it slide. Before we get to the news, Nick, did you watch any wrestling this week? I feel like it's been a while since we've done a Wrestle Reel.
And strangely enough, last week was pre-recorded. Yes. Okay. Chris Anthony Lopez, you sound fantastic right now, by the way. I know that you have a new mic setup going on right now, and I don't know if it's the first time that you used. I don't know if it's the first time that you used it for the show, but for this show, yeah, sounds absolutely fantastic. Okay, so. I mean, I think that we both have a conjoined, agreed hide spot for later that we discussed earlier in the week, correct? Or do you have another one? Because I watched some of NXT here and there when Jordan Devlin and Santos Escobar got that friggin' ladder thrown into that ring. I cried.
Tears were shed?
But tears were shed. But there was something that dropped today that I would like to touch on very quickly because we were never able to talk about it. I'm going to pull it up real quick just for my own reference. Peacock released its top 50 women's wrestlers today.
Oh, God.
And I know that we obviously have a very important show to do today.
Yes.
We have a very important show to do today, but I have a feeling we could squeeze this in at the beginning.
Totally.
We'll call it our we're calling it our surprise Lesnar count of the day. So I mean, it's a little controversial.
Is it?
Well,
I haven't seen this. I don't know what you're talking about.
It focuses heavily on the new era of wrestlers. As opposed to bringing up, like, never in a million years would I rank Beth Phoenix at 11. I think Beth Phoenix is a top 10 women's wrestler of all time.
Nick, for the sake of myself and for the sake of people listening that don't know, they may not know what you're talking about. Can you rattle off the top 15?
Top 15. See, this is where this stuff gets. I'm going to go through the list just myself as I talk. I'm going to say some controversial spots. I'm not going to say everybody, obviously, but I'm going to say some controversial spots as to where certain wrestlers fall on this list.
How many wrestlers is it overall?
They did 50. Caitlyn is at 49. But you want to know who's at 48? Kaylee Ray. I'm like, that's a little early for her, isn't it? To even be on this list.
I mean, if we're just counting her WWE career, I believe she's the longest reigning UK Women's Champions or NXT UK Women's Champion. So
I was thinking about her in NXT. I'm an idiot. Anymore, we got Layla at Eve Torres at 40. That seems a little. Maurice at 37.
Okay, so you're just okay. Okay.
I'm thinking about just a few, like Naomi at 30. Controversial. Oh, wow. The Bella Twins. Here's a controversial one. They ranked the Bella Twins at 26. That feels low for
together.
Yeah, that feels really low for the way that they treat them. You know what I mean?
Oh wow!
Now, again, this was Peacock's list, by the way.
This is this is Comcast Universal talking.
All right, you know what? We're going through the top 20.
Yes, let's go to the top 20.
Because this is interesting. All right, number 20, Natalia. Number 19, AJ Lee is on the list.
Wow.
Number 8, yeah, but you know who is above AJ Lee?
Oh God.
Shayna Baszler. Number 17, Paige. Number 16, Sable. Number 15, Molly Holly. Number 14, Victoria. I like that she was even in the top 15.
Right.
That's fantastic. Number 13, Alexa Bliss. Number 12, Mickie James. A little low there for Mickie. Oh, boy. Number 11, Beth Phoenix. Number 10 is a little controversial because of the way that they're ranking these newer superstars. Number 10 is Bayley. I would have thought at this point they would have put her a little higher, but they're not. Here's where we're going to get a little controversial.
Oh, God.
Number 9, Ronda Rousey.
No.
Number 8, the most controversial one on this list because she should be too, Lita.
Yeah, Lita at 8?
They knocked Lita to 8. Number 7, Adriana Blaze. Get it. I get it. Or Alundra.
Alundra Blaze, yeah.
Yes, it's Alundra. What the hell is wrong with me?
I know what you're talking about.
Number 6, Sasha Banks. Number 5, Asuka. Number 4, but she should be number 3, Chyna.
Sheesh.
Number 3, Becky Lynch. And here's where it doesn't get that controversial. Number 2, Charlotte. And number 1,
Trish.
Her rightful spot is Trish Stratus. It's it's Harvey Whippleman. But you know, he did win the women's championship. Women.
Oh my God! But what a list!
It's just not a. And even so, like, I get that Charlotte, they're like booking her to the friggin' top. I would say Bayley's should be I should say, I think that Becky Lynch should be number 2 if they're going to do it like that.
Ooh.
I think that Becky Lynch has accomplished just a little bit more in the WWE.
Oh, wow.
Minus the accolades.
As I try to tweet the link off of the show.
That is controversial, isn't it?
Okay, so. Oh, wow. There are a lot of good names in there. There are a lot of good ones. You got to have Lita higher. You got to have Beth in the top 10.
You got to have freaking Mickie James higher, in my opinion.
You got to have Mickie James higher. Oh, jeez. Can you rattle off 7 through 9 again for me?
I just closed out of it, but
you know what? Forget
sorry.
It. Like, no, you're fine. I just wow. Maybe I love this job today, but after we like prepped the show, we got the show. Maybe we have to break this down next week. Really like break it down.
I think that maybe we need to re-rank it next week. Our own. See, you know what?
I love having a production meetings on the show.
Well, hey, no. I wouldn't say this is a production meeting. This was the Kids at Hart promo against Peacock. Because next episode, which is something we've never done before, which is call a count before we actually released it during an episode.
Right.
We are going to be re-ranking a certain number. I don't know if we're going to do all 50 because I think that would be a little bit too long. At least the top 20 of this list.
The very least. And maybe we'll tackle all 20 or all 50 because there are a lot of great names. Did you say AJ Lee wasn't in the top 10, right?
No, she wasn't.
I think she should. But again,
Paige wasn't in the top 10.
That's another crazy ass one. There are I love Bayley, and I think I don't know if Bayley cracks the top 10. Maybe the last 2 years of her career have been the best stuff she's ever done. At least that I've seen. And oh Lord, I don't think that still stacks up to AJ or to Paige. But you know what? That's one hell of a list. That is one hell of a list.
That just got the Chris Anthony Lopez one hell of a. So that's saying a lot.
And I mean, oh geez, I can't believe that. I mean, Peacock just announced or just got the WWE Network. Which, by the way, have you gotten that? Have you signed up for your Peacock yet?
I have not. No,
I have. I can say
okay.
I can say I did. And by the way, this is my first time getting Peacock. This is awfully frustrating. It's awfully frustrating to maneuver myself through.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's like I don't like how it's set up. WrestleMania, they're like season 25 is WrestleMania 20 or WrestleMania 25. Like, it's weird, and I know they just got there, and it will get better over time. Mm-hmm. And I know they're already censoring content. Ooh, so
yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean,
but like, I don't know if that's something I want to get into on this show.
No. Like, and the stuff they censored from what I've seen, rightfully so, because it looks bad.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying it. It's like, I mean, not that I think that you obviously would feel that way, but it's just right, like I think that both of us can agree what they're censoring will probably piss a certain amount of people off, and it's not us. I'll just leave it at that.
Right. So I mean, we'll see. In regards to what happens with the network going forward, it's only been a week and a half, not even a week. So from what we've seen so far, it's been a smooth transition. But we'll have to revisit this conversation in like August after SummerSlam when they say all the content will be up on there, and we discuss. And if they leave anything out, they censor more content. I mean, we'll see. All I will say in regards to the censored content, though, good.
Good on you.
Does not age well at all.
Oh gosh, no.
Like it's awfully it's a little racy. And I'm not trying to. And I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, you might know those moments. And, like it is what it is. But let's talk some of the latest news around wrestling because there's been a lot going on lately, and Nick and I have been our brains have been melting. Talk about it over text. Let's talk about it on the podcast.
Sorry. I always do that.
A little quickie. No, so
wait, hold on.
There we go.
Yeah, that felt right.
So, you see at the bottom it says news dump. That's exactly what this is. Because
I didn't even mean to name it that. I just forgot what we were calling it.
No, that's exactly what it is, right? Because the last week in wrestling has been awfully interesting, and so much has happened since last time I saw you. So much has happened.
It's crazy.
We got some Hall of Fame announcements that I want to dive into. Some confirmed, some rumored. We're slowly filling out the cards to NXT Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania 35 or 37. Yeah, this is 37.
Number. It's 37. Yeah.
And then, like there's been some developments on things we talked about last week. That's how I want to start this segment off. Last week we said like. What's the deal with Andrade? You know, El Idolo! Like, what's the deal with him and what the hell's going on? He got his release denied, and all of a freaking sudden, after Fastlane, like after the show had ended, WWE tweets out, "Oh, we have parted ways with Andrade. We maybe wish him the best in his future endeavors." And it's like, whoa, like that came out of nowhere. And hours before that, he tweeted, buenas noticias, good news. And we're like, oh, okay, word. Like, we don't know what that means, but like, great. And then he got his release. And supposedly, there's no 90-day wait period. My man gets to go wherever he wants, like now, like yesterday. So, Nick, I know we talked about it on the show last week, and we talked about how much you wanted him to stay. And how much you wanted him to be a part of WWE. That's not the case anymore. What was your first reaction?
My first reaction was he's not Andrade anymore. Excuse me, just dying over here. He's not Andrade anymore at this point, I would imagine. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not surprised that this happened. I thought that maybe there would have been some form of a push. I joked that maybe it was a work, but it's not a work. He's gone from the WWE, and good on him if that's what he wanted. I would like to know where he's going to pop up. I don't think it's going to be AEW. I think that would be that's the easy prediction.
Right.
I'm gonna say New Japan probably would make more sense. Welcoming back an old familiar face as a company that, I mean, if and we'll get into this the next segment, obviously, but if like Impact moving to Thursday night means anything, that he could end up there for all we know.
Show you right.
You know, they might be going after some bigger talent if they have like a Thursday night TV deal or something like that. And again, we'll get into that more next segment. But I don't know. I good luck to him. I hope that everything works out in the end and he actually can wrestle, you know?
Yeah.
I'm glad that WWE isn't limiting him with this no compete clause. Like, that is fantastic because we can actually see him wrestle again. But yeah, I'm not. My stance on it still remains the same. I'm severely disappointed in what ended up happening with Andrade. And I would really, really, really like to see him thrive somewhere else, whether it be him wearing his mask again, whether it being that beautiful Andrade face. He's going to be a draw somewhere. Right. Hopefully somebody can book them right. And at this point, WWE, do not fuck up Humberto or do not mess up. I got my one. Angel. Just this is my call on the WWE like all the time to do better. Right.
No, and that's ultimately what we want at the end of the day. We want the best for everyone involved. I know that's almost impossible because of how many wrestlers there are on the roster and how limited time on weekly TV. And Andrade was one of the peeps that we all thought was like main event caliber. A lot of people thought that, not just us, right? Like we're just beating a dead horse at this point with how good Andrade is.
Yeah.
And hopefully, and I think I'm not so ready to knock out AEW and all this. Like I know AEW's out here like, oh, WWE released talent, a scoop. Like they like a scoop, especially if you're Latino. Oh man. And this guy, like, okay. So I'm trying to think of the AEW main event scene right now and who is over there. And so like what we got, who's the champ? You got at the top, you got Kenny, right? Kenny's feuding with Moxley. Okay, great. And with the Bucks, okay, great. He's hanging out with them. And then you got Darby Allin as your TNT champion. Okay, cool. You got Hikaru Shida. You got Hikaru with your NXT women or your AEW women's championship. And okay, cool. Like who you got besides that? Like we're pushing people up, right? And I'm king diversity on this show. I think Andrade would be like, oh, bloop. I think he'd be a great addition into that main event scene. I know they're adding Christian into that soon. But I was like, hey, let's which is that sentence just came out of my mouth, by the way, in the year of our Lord 2021.
Dude, Kazarian versus Christian, though.
We'll see.
That's happening. Give me.
But Andrade, I think he'd be a great addition to the AEW roster, especially if they're looking for more folks of color, more Latinos. I know Thunder Rosa. I don't think she's officially part of the AEW roster. I think NWA is just like, yeah, user, go ahead. And she's great, right? And I hope she still does AEW stuff. But after that match with Britt Baker, like, is she okay? But
is everybody okay?
Right.
Are we okay at this point? I don't even know.
I haven't stopped thinking about it. I think that match is great. But like Ring of Honor is another good option. You mentioned Impact. New Japan seems like the best bet because of his ties already when he was already over there. When he was La Sombra. Like if he puts a mask back on, then great. Then I'm more than down for it. My only thing that's helping me keep him in the States is Thea Trinidad. That's who I think is going to pair up with Andrade and go somewhere. So the woman formerly known as Lena Vega, her and Andrade had a great run together. Regardless of how it ended, it was fantastic, and their chemistry is like off the charts. So I would pop big if the man formerly known as Andrade and the woman formerly known as Zelina Vega popped up on AEW television, popped up on Ring of Honor, Impact. Impact sounds awfully likely. Like I know they're throwing money at a lot of things right now, and
They are.
and they're moving away from competition again. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I think the stuff with Andrade is awfully interesting. But again, we don't know. There's no 90-day clause. Zelina's or Thea's ended a while ago, so we'll see what they do. And hopefully, I like Thea Trinidad a lot, and I hope she ends up with the wrestling company. And now that Andrade's out,
it's a good pairing. It's a good pairing. Not gonna lie.
100%. And I can't. I'm hoping for them to go together wherever the hell they go.
Yeah.
But away from Andrade, because we talk about Andrade so many damn times in this show.
We do. We like Andrade.
We love Andrade over here at Wrestle Real. There are a few Hall of Fame announcements that happened this week. That one's like, oh yeah, and the other one's like, whoa, oh, like, huh? And those two are Kane and the Great Khali, and I'll let you decide which one's which. So, Nick, I
know which one's which for you.
Right.
I was reacted both the same excitement for my way.
Ooh, please elaborate.
It's Khali, man. Like when he raised Jinder Mahal's hand because he thought he won the WWE Championship in that Punjabi prison match versus Randy Orton, I thought that was one of the greatest moments of all time.
Oh my God.
Khali has always been a company guy, a great ambassador for the WWE in India. Yeah. And dude kind of has a hard time moving around at times and stuff like that. So like,
right.
I have no problem with them doing this, even if it does feel a little bit early for Khali. To me, it doesn't entirely, because WWE feels like they're kind of like ready the second that a person retires. I mean, hell, not to say that Ric Flair obviously didn't deserve it, but it's not like they have like a baseball wait time or something like that.
Right.
So I'm not mad about Khali. I love Khali. I grew up watching Khali. I grew up watching Khali turn into the embarrassment that Khali turned into when it came down to it. And that's not his fault. It's just the booking for him. You know what I mean? But to be like the first Indian world champion, to be, to be a world champion, let alone anything else, setting up for people like Jinder Mahal to eventually win. And that's another enigma type thing about that Jinder Mahal World Championship run, is like he wasn't even the first Indian world champion and stuff like that. And I'm not mad that's not me being mad about it or anything like that. It's just like, what kind of an accolade can you throw at Jinder Mahal for that championship run? It just was so random.
If you want to be technical, I guess he was the first Indian WWE champion. I know Khali won the World Heavyweight title. So if you want to get technical, you want to boil it down. Yeah.
But Khali, let's talk. It's got to be Kane, obviously, is the exciting.
It's got to be Kane.
It was cool that Undertaker was the one to announce it to him. It was only a matter of time before Kane, and there was no way Khali wasn't going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Though, does this feel a little early for Khali to be inducted into the Hall of Fame? I'm not trying to say that the guy's going to be wrestling anytime soon or anything like that, but it does feel a little bit weird that he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Kane has done so much. In my opinion, he's a Triple Crown world champion, like the Big Show, because he won the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. He won the World Heavyweight Championship. He won the WWE Championship. Hell, he might have even won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, so he could be a 4-crown. Kane's resume speaks for itself. I mean, I wonder if they're going to induct his dentist gimmick as well. Corporate Kane is still one of my favorite things of all time because I could call him cocaine. But it felt inevitable that Glenn Jacobs was not only going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, but at the same time, let this sort of be the ending of his career, or that he was retired at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The guy's the mayor of a town.
Right.
So what more does he have to offer to the WWE? It's guys like that, or like John Cena, who is doing more of the Hollywood thing that he said he was never going to do. Cough. But it's just like, I'm happy for both of them, honestly.
The Kane one, I'll talk about this briefly. Of course, Kane deserves it, right? Of course he does. He's one of the most recognizable characters in all of wrestling history. Like, regardless of what you thought, how someone thought the character evolved over time, or when they took his mask off, whatever, Kane is still Kane. Yes. And it's gotta be Kane. There's so many iconic moments to the character. The things that I love, the Team Hell No stuff with Kane, right? Mm-hmm. And if Undertaker's not the one to induct Kane, I'd love to see Daniel Bryan do it. Like, this would be, I think it'd be a really, really sweet moment, because that Team Hell No stuff really reinvigorated Kane's career. Mm-hmm. So, like, I remember that's when I realized how much I liked Kane, during that Team Hell No stuff. It was really, really cool. And the fact that Undertaker announced on the Bump, which, by the way, the Bump's becoming like one of the like go-to must-watch wrestling shows on right now. Like, it's weird.
It absolutely is.
So, and it was really sweet. It was a great emotional moment. The fact that Undertaker, I love that the Undertaker's retired now. At least I think he's retired. I like that he's not living the gimmick again. For the love
of God, he's retired.
Right. I like that he's not living the gimmick now, because he can do stuff like this. Yeah. Like Undertaker 10 years ago is not doing this shit. He's not doing the Bump. No, but now he's like
the Bump.
The Bump. He's like, no, like what? Like Kane, brother. You're going to the Hall of Fame, and Kane's like, damn, that's some real shit. Like, that's, and my man almost started crying. It was great. So yes, of course, Kane. Yes, Great Khali. This is the one where I was like, huh?
Come on, it's Khali.
But you're right. You nailed it on the head. The Dorsey broke down in the diversity. So Buck in the chat. I know these are my Wrestle Real glasses, brother. But no, like Great Khali to me, right? I think he broke down a lot of doors, a lot of barriers, especially for the Indian part of the world in regards to wrestling. Yeah, like, I mean, he's a big reason why WWE has a Indian presence now. Like, for sure. Without Khali, folks like Jinder Mahal don't succeed the way they do, right? Like when we talk about like black wrestlers, right? We think of like the Ron Simmons, right? Dwayne Johnson. Like there's always one person to break the door down, and we get a bunch after that. And like with Great Khali here, of course there must have been Indian wrestlers before Khali, but Khali's the one that broke out. He was a name. He was a face. He's a guy with a big ass hand, right? And it's like an Andre the Giant situation where his mobility is what legitimately ended his career, right? So, like Khali, regardless of what you thought of him, the Punjabi playboy, like I firmly think he would have made the Hall of Fame eventually. So I can't get mad at this one. Exactly. I'm not mad at either one of them. So I'm totally down with the Punjabi playboy and the mayor of Knox County going into the Hall of Fame. They do join Eric Bischoff, Molly Holly, and what was the other one? And it was just those two. But
Bad Bunny.
Estoy en mi peak.
Question for you. You said Dwayne Johnson?
The Rock.
I wasn't able to interrupt you as you were saying that, but go on. Yes.
But there's one that's rumored though. I saw one yesterday that I want to get your 2 cents on. If
I know exactly who it is.
It's a guy who's spent his whole career up in the clouds, but he's a really damn good wrestler. And it's little Rob Van Damski, WWE Hall of Famer Rob Van Dam. Are we gonna get that next week at some point?
Yes. Come on. How is Rob Van Dam not a WWE Hall of Famer? If Great Khali is a WWE Hall of Famer, which he is, Rob Van Dam is a WWE Hall of Famer.
Like
the whole effing show.
I love Rob Van Dam, and I wasn't. Trust me, don't get me wrong. I wasn't the biggest I wasn't the biggest RVD mark when I was growing up. I just missed RVD. So like when he came back in 2013 for that little baby run he had, I'm like RVD is cool, and he was doing good stuff at the time too. Shit, as far as I'm concerned, he was still wrestling like 2 weeks ago. But him going into the Hall of Fame, of course, right? It's RVD, like one of a kind. Like he's done great stuff in WWE, and I feel like at this point, well, we will get to the day where WWE will acknowledge other companies and the work that these wrestlers have done in other companies. I know Vince and company, they acknowledge previous versions of WWE and WCW, ECW, and shit like that. They acknowledge those, but the other accolades, they will never talk about Brock Lesnar's time in New Japan. They'll never talk about it. But hopefully one day they will, because that also is a big part of that character and of that wrestler, you know. So RVD, talk about a guy whose career span like primarily over Impact and WWE and ECW. Like he's one of the most recognizable and infamous wrestlers of all time because of the things that he's done both in and outside of the ring. So I love the RVD choice. It hasn't been officially announced yet. I just saw, I believe it's on the Wrestling Observer. So that's as close to, I just bit my lip. That's as close to confirmed as you can get. Well, right.
Somebody points out that he does have an Icons documentary coming out in the next couple of weeks, though.
Oh, great.
So I think that would be ideally the time if this is really that hardcore rumored. And like, you know, underrated because it really didn't lead anywhere. But how about that like recent run with WWE? I know that it wasn't that recent, but I mean, it's just like, it was so good to see RVD back. Like when you say that you weren't necessarily an RVD mark growing up, which, hey, it's fine. We all have our own favorite wrestlers and stuff like that. I loved RVD. I was pissed because growing up, the only RVD figure that I had looked like this. No articulation. It just moved up, down, and it could not move its legs.
Yeah.
It could hit a fantastic frog splash, which is what I need. But like, I just like, I love RVD. Like, you know, he was always one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. Now, I didn't know the behind the scenes reasons why, like, you know, he wasn't as involved until later on in my life. But like, and I have no problem with that stuff. But it's just like, I don't delve into everybody, but I do not have a problem. I like, I'm so happy to see that like RVD will get his just due. He's going to. He was never really one that wronged him. I mean, if he appears in AEW next week, perhaps, but RVD's the man.
He is the man, and he may not be the man with the plan, but he's definitely the man, 100%. And the last thing in regards to the Hall of Fame I want to mention real quick, Batista. He will not be inducted this year because of scheduling conflicts. Presumably, he's shooting a movie because our boy Dave is also a big movie star now. So Dave Batista, or AKA Batista, he will not be inducted this year, but he'll be inducted in the future year. And he asked them to do so, and they obliged, thankfully, because I do want Batista to give his speech in front of the fans, in front of his peers at a future Hall of Fame ceremony. And plus, this year's already going to be stacked. Last year's class and this year's class, and this year's class is looking good. So I'm content with the whole Batista stuff. And Dave, I'll hold you to it. I'll be there, brother. You should let me know ahead of time.
I mean, I am really. Who's the headliner for this class at this point?
Kane.
Is it Kane? Well, do they have anybody else in store?
That's another. Yeah,
Undertaker.
No, no. I think
they're saving him for yeah. Man, Undertaker, Batista. That is, you know, like a lot of people I see them like, oh my gosh, I feel so old. Blah blah blah. The second Undertaker and Batista go into the class at the exact same time, if that's what ends up happening, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be gray. And I know that, like, I'm saying that as I'm going, yeah, the Great Khali is being inducted into the Hall of Fame. But, like, my goodness gracious, Undertaker and Batista in the same class. At least Kane's been around for forever. RVD's been around for forever. Khali's been around. But other people, like, oh my gosh, I just.
Taker has been around for a while. Survivor Series 1990 was a long time ago. And Batista, though, was it 2002 and 2003 when he first showed up?
Well, exactly. I know Deacon Batista's a thing, but still, like, come on.
It is crazy that a lot of our favorites from our childhood now are the ones that are getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. Like
exactly.
the day someone like Randy Orton or John Cena, Rey Mysterio, like once those guys get inducted, that's when I'll be like, damn, like this is some real shit. Like those are like those are the guys I was watching. Like, you know, like it was gonna be some crazy shit when we get there, inevitably, because all those guys are bona fide Hall of Famers. But let's talk about some NXT ski. William Regal announced.
Second. I love it.
William Regal announced that Danny Burch has an injury. He had an injury with the shoulder, so Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch had to vacate the NXT Tag Team Championships. And there was no plan, as far as I know from NXT this past week. There's no plan as of right now to crown new champs. They might wait till after WrestleMania.
Well, wasn't there a match that was announced for Takeover?
For two for the tag belts?
Isn't it MSK, Grizzled Young Vets, and another tag team in a triple threat match?
Holy hell!
Did you not know about that?
No!
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's your match.
Because this card's already running wild, brother. We got Ciampa Walter confirmed. We got that we got Balor Cross confirmed. We have this like Battle Royal Eliminator thing that's gonna go on at night 1 of Takeover to face Gargano night 2 of Takeover. Like it's this Battle Royal of 12 guys. The last 6 face off an Eliminator, and like okay.
And after wasting all this time, Dexter Lumis finally gets his title shot, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't know how he's. I don't know.
So okay, this is how it is. So this upcoming Wednesday at NXT, they have the Battle Royal. Last 6 guys face off at the Eliminator first night of Takeover, and then the winner of that faces Gargano night 2.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's
also, I can confirm it is MSK. Wesley. Sorry, I keep thinking about that. Grizzled Young Vets and Legado del Fantasma.
Ooh.
For the vacant NXT MSK Tag Team Championships.
Right.
Hopefully.
Holy hell, that's awesome. I didn't
If Grizzled Young Vets wins, I'm not mad at that. If Fantasma wins, we know it's because of like those two are probably beating the crap out of each other outside of the ring, and then they just sneak in for the pin. They're just there because that's going to be a freaking good match.
Like, there's a lot to look forward to at this upcoming Takeover Stand and Deliver. And on top of that tag match, which completely went over my head, we have a confirmation of a Cruiserweight title unification thing. It's going to be a ladder match. Jordan Devlin and Santos Escobar.
Love it.
Nick,
also,
you texted me and you said this would be the best match of the year.
I think so.
This is match of the year contender between Escobar and Devlin.
I think so. I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be high flying. I think it's going to be full of action. Now, I'm looking at the day 1 and day 2, right?
Yes.
Now, WrestleMania feels like it's spread out a little bit more than this, right? Like day 2, shit goes off.
Day 2, if I'm not mistaken, is the one that's on Peacock.
Oh, okay. And so also day 2, they better have a women's match on day 2 because it's looking very
What's on night 1?
Night 1 is Io versus Raquel Gonzalez, which will probably be the main event. MSK, Grizzled Young Vets, and Fantasma for the Tag Team Championships.
That'll open the show.
The Gauntlet match, and then Walter versus Ciampa is for the UK Championship.
Whoa!
Yeah, I did not know
they
that.
Put the belt on it. I just thought they're wrestling each other. That's cool. That's cool as hell.
And then night 2 is just where, like I said, shit goes off. You got Balor versus Cross. You got Cole versus O'Reilly.
Unsanctioned, by the way.
Unsanctioned. You got, I hate that term so much. You got Gargano versus Dexter Lumis. You have Jordan Devlin versus Santos Escobar. I just feel like we're wasting a lot of time. There's a lot of story here. Like, why are you not just making that the match?
Yeah, you gotta
is
make
Thatcher in
it.
the Gauntlet match?
What?
Is Timothy Thatcher in the Gauntlet match?
Great question. I don't think so.
I want to pull that up real quick because I have a feeling that I know I have a feeling that I know who is going to walk away with this. Or I think I know who's going to be the 6. I think that it's going to maybe not 6. I think I know 5 of the 6. I think it's going to, or no, I know the 6 actually. It's going to be Pete Dunne, Kushida, Dexter Lumis, Austin Theory is going to get himself in there.
Okay.
Bronson Reed and LA Knight.
Okay, so for those who don't know, the 12 men are Jake Atlas, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Leon Ruff, Austin Theory, Dexter Lumis, Tyler Russ, Kushida, Cameron Grimes, Pete Dunne, Roderick Strong, Bronson Reed, and LA Knight. I also have LA Knight. That's throwing Bronson Reed, Lumis, Theory. I'm going to say Grimes.
I hate Grimes. I hate Grimes so much.
And for the sake of putting him on the card, damn it. Yeah, I take Grimes off. I'll put on Scott. I like Swerve.
Yeah, I was
actually I take
Swerve.
That back because they're
Leon,
because they're going to screw over each other. So I'll put back Grimes and did I say Pete Dunne?
No, but Pete Dunne's got to be there, right?
He's there. Knight, Reed, Strong, Dunne, Grimes, Lumis, no Theory.
No Theory. Oh, I think Theory is going to be in the match.
If Theory is in it, he'll replace Strong. But I want to see Roddy on the card.
I keep forgetting about Roddy in that match, but
right.
I just think Bronson's been on a roll. LA Knight is new, and you want to showcase your new guys.
You gotta have Pete Dunne.
Pete Dunne definitely is in that match. Theory makes sense story-wise, and Kushida, because Kushida is Kushida, and they better do something with Kushida.
It won't be Atlas. It won't be Scott. It won't be Ruff. It won't be Rust. Those other 8 guys, though, I could totally see them in the match.
I think it's the Gauntlet match. I think is going to be really good.
Yes,
it's gonna. But like to get to that point, it's gonna be a weird. Like, have you ever watched a battle royal that like ends after there's 6 people left in the ring?
It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be
a weird match. Though it's new, it's different. Am I excited for it? I'm just kind of. It's not that I'm sitting here like I know I have to be right in this situation. Maybe Roddy. I have a feeling that Roddy gets himself involved in this unsanctioned match in some way.
Yes.
So that might be what I'm thinking leaves him off of this, but I again don't know because I could totally see Roderick Strong being in this match. But I don't know who I take out of mine unless for some reason Gargano is trying to get Theory to do his bidding during that match and he's throwing people out. And Theory gets thrown out for that reason. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I was thinking.
It's tricky.
There's 8 guys and there's only 6 spots to me. So who those 2 guys that are left off, we'll see. But before I move on to the second count, there are 2 things I want to mention from this past Monday's Raw. Rhea Ripley and Asuka at WrestleMania.
A little unearned, but at the same time, pretty freaking earned because...
Talk about history. Corey Graves on After the Bell called this a generational NXT matchup.
Yeah. I mean, this is also... I hate that I know that this match only exists because Charlotte has COVID.
Yeah.
I feel like I trash a lot on Charlotte on this show, or I use Charlotte's name a lot on this show, but I don't mean to do it in a negative way.
Charlotte's
I definitely think she was supposed to face against Asuka at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Don't think that she's going to now.
Triple threat at least.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Rhea better win. I hate that because Asuka's WrestleMania's losing streak would be at 3, I think, right? Or did she win last year?
Who she wrestled last year? That's the thing.
Yeah. Keep that in the back of your mind as I look it up. But it's just like she, as much as I want her to be doing something with the championship.
Right.
I mean, does Peyton Royce find herself into this match for some reason?
Ooh.
I don't know. It's just like I don't know.
If Peyton Royce makes her way into this match, it'll be on Raw this upcoming Monday. They will not. They will not add her the week before on the Go Home show. They will not add her then.
Because Asuka was posting a meme where it was like Rhea and Peyton Royce going after each other as Godzilla and King Kong, and then Doge comes out and beats both of them up, and it's Asuka.
And maybe to fill that Charlotte spot, you give it to Peyton Royce, which is a huge rub. Say, hey, it's like, damn, Charlotte's out. Hey, Peyton, and then bang, here we go, triple threat.
And I would be completely and utterly okay with that.
Yes.
But I don't know. It's such a weird situation for her to have just like been like, oh, she's gonna make her debut soon. She's gonna make her debut soon, and then she never does. And then she does, which I'm very happy about because I love Rhea. Like, I think that she'll win next year's Royal Rumble for sure. But it felt a little unceremonious to me. I'm not gonna lie.
It was random. It was definitely spontaneous.
Spontaneous is the best way to put it. The nice way to put it as well.
But I really, really dig it.
I do too.
I'm looking forward to Ripley, Asuka, and it's gonna be a great match at the very least, regardless of who goes over. It'll be Rhea. But it's And did you look up WrestleMania 36? I
have been looking and keep going. You had another. Well, we haven't. There's one more news dump that you didn't even bring up. The Fiend is back.
I didn't bring up the Fiend, and let's talk about the Fiend before the last thing I wanted to mention. The Fiend's back. He's all mangled and burned and dirty, and we got the confirmation that he's wrestling Randy Orton at WrestleMania, and the Fiend is like Ultra God, Super Saiyan God Fiend now, and we're over here like, what the hell, right? Like, how's Randy Orton even gonna beat this man? Like, Randy Orton's a weak human. The Fiend is this demented clown who takes sledgehammer shots to the head and stands right back up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But how they brought the Fiend back at Fastlane was, it was expected. It's been a while since last time we saw the Fiend at TLC, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So he's been off TV for a while. And they had Alexa Bliss, carry this feud, and she did a great job of doing so. But now the Fiend's back. Bray Wyatt, however, has not made an appearance. It's only been the Fiend. No Bray Wyatt ski. So
Kari and I think that the Kabuki Warriors beat Bliss Cross Applesauce. I hate that. I think that they beat Bliss and Cross.
That makes sense.
So yes, okay. So I can confirm, Ski, that at least Asuka has a win under her belt.
Fantastic. But the Fiend's back. I know you're a big Fiend merc, Nick. So, are the boys back? Wrestle Real's fave, the Fiend is back.
Listen, man. I'm a bit disappointed that this. Well, and it might become it. I'm a bit disappointed that this isn't. Also, if you hear a dog barking, that might be my dog downstairs. Nobody's home except for me, so like he freaks out. If this isn't a Firefly Funhouse match, I don't think, even though it should be.
It hasn't been confirmed if it is.
But what I'm wondering the most, the mythos of Bray Wyatt in the WWE. First of all, it's incredibly intriguing. There is actually some form of a backstory to the Fiend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is Bray Wyatt burned and damaged right now? Or is it just the Fiend? Will we get a Firefly Funhouse segment? Not Firefly Funhouse. But, are we going to get a Firefly segment before the next 2 weeks are up? Are we going to be hearing that? We're really glad that you're our friend. Are we going to be hearing that at all? I want to, because, oh my goodness, is there something that I'm missing in my life other than those segments? They're so good. Excellent.
I'd be surprised if this match doesn't turn into a Firefly Funhouse match.
I think time to book it.
Right. And the match, this is how you protect both guys. And we saw what happens when the Fiend wrestles. And I know sometimes, like, you know, like when he wrestles Daniel Bryan, it's great. And Daniel Bryan's like wrestling a demonic clown, like I mentioned. And it's like, oh, and this makes sense with my wrestling goggles on. It makes sense, right? And with the Randy Orton stuff, obviously he's wrestled the clown before, but this clown's all burned and mangled, and he's out here calling back to Husky Harris on Twitter. Like, I'm like, okay, like we need to, like, the Bray Wyatt Twitter account. He was like a quote and then a picture of Randy Orton about to punt kick Husky Harris on Raw one day.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So this goes back all them years ago, and this I want to see a Firefly Funhouse match because I want to see them dissect Randy Orton's career the way they did John Cena's.
Well,
I think it'd be really cool.
And Adam Blampier, my boy,
the homie,
created. So I didn't finish watching it, but he booked the ending of John Cena's career, like his last run, video. And I started to watch it, but there's a very intriguing thing that the WWE can do that I want them. Now, obviously, they're not going to pull from his videos. I don't think that they ever have, even though people are like, oh my gosh, look at that. He books things into fruition because they should happen. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with, holy crap, our first segment's been an hour. Don't care. He books things into fruition. Don't get me wrong. But in my head, I'm thinking, this could be cool. He booked it. So Bray Wyatt is in the middle of the ring as like a big top announcer, and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, for the 8,000th time, it's Randy Orton versus John Cena. And John Cena appears all mangled and like bearded and like has no clue where he is, and he runs out of the ring back into the reality of the WWE. And then he's like, oh, even John Cena doesn't want to see this match. But like, that would be Raw. I would love that to happen. Like, that would be so cool that, like, you know, John Cena's been gone, and in the context of the WWE, he really has been gone. You know, they don't really talk about him anymore or anything like that. Then he goes on to, like, make John Cena the 31st member in the
I watched the video. I thought it was great.
But that point right there, I'm just like, WWE.
I think if that's how I want to bring John Cena back. I know he said he's not going to be at WrestleMania, but we know you're working me, John. Like, don't lie to me, bruv. What I will say is that'd be a great way to bring John Cena back to the fold, have him be stuck in Bray Wyatt's little funhouse for a year, and then he came back. Not until the pandemic was a thing. That'd be pretty funny. But where are the fans at? Like that'd be great. But that's how you bring Cena back through the Orton Firefly Funhouse match. The hypothetical, because it's not confirmed. No. Hopefully it will be, because I think the Fiend thrives in the cinematic matches, for better or for worse. I'm looking at you, Braun Strowman. So I dig I like the idea of Firefly Funhouse becoming an annual thing, and Bray Wyatt just decimating or dismantling someone's career in a match. But at the same time, that almost guarantees a Wyatt victory, unless one day, like, the Undertaker's like, not today, Wyatt. And but we'll see. But I do want to see the Fiend do some fun stuff at WrestleMania, especially since they're only allowing limited fans, and there won't be too many people there. You can totally pre-tape this thing. Mm-hmm. The last thing I want to mention in regards to WrestleMania, quick little thing. We have a confirmation of what Bad Bunny is doing at WrestleMania, and he's wrestling The Miz one-on-one. There's no tag teams, no Damien Priest, no John Morrison. It's Bad Bunny versus The Miz. I know it's not too late to change their minds. But as of right now, is The Miz a type of wrestler you can put him in the ring with a guy like Bad Bunny and it be all right? Like, I know we love The Miz over here at Surreal.
The Miz
we
just
love
won the WWE Championship, and now he's going one-on-one with Bad Bunny? No! That is not how you book it. Okay, just say it.
I think...
Just say it. Because I said the words Bad Bunny.
Oh, estoy en mi peak.
Thank you. And I just, oh my gosh. This is where you halt Damien Priest's momentum. This is what pisses me off about this. It has nothing to do with the fact that The Miz just won the WWE freaking championship. It has everything to do with Damien Priest. It has everything to do with Damien Priest. And even so, what the hell, WWE? You keep sticking John Morrison in these awful celebrity tag team these tag team matches. I mean, he freaking tagged with Snooki, and I didn't think that could get any worse. And
she actually did stuff, though, to our surprise.
To our surprise. That's wonderful. I'm so glad that we wasted all this time just to see that Snooki can do a freaking cartwheel. That's wonderful. Okay, listen, man. Listen, I'm sure that Bad Bunny seems like he's more into it than any celebrity I've ever seen before, and that is completely fair, and that is wonderful. That said, Damien Priest was the North American champion in NXT.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be his only career accolade. Damien Priest is great. He should have been the NXT champion down there. Don't bring him up like this and ruin his momentum by having him not even in this match. If you're going to drag this through the mud and make this a thing, put Damien Priest in the match at least.
I don't disagree with you. I don't. I echo all your sentiments. The only thing that I want to say to add on to that, and to why the Miz is wrestling Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny, not only like platinum selling recording artist, he just won a Grammy. He took the 24/7 belt to SNL, big deal.
Yeah.
But like what you said, where's Damien Priest? They used Bad Bunny to elevate Damien Priest, and then one day they stopped doing that. So we'll see. There's still we got 2 weeks. Got 2 shows until WrestleMania, 2 Raws. A lot can change between now and then. But speaking of change, there's a certain wrestling show that's on Tuesdays that's moving to Thursdays for whatever reason, and let's talk about it. Impact Wrestling, right now, they are the Tuesday wrestling show as of right now, and there have been rumors of NXT moving off of Wednesday to Tuesday. Rumors, nothing confirmed. Well, Impact Wrestling confirmed out of the blue, really, that they're like, yeah, we're done with Tuesdays. We're going to Thursdays. Nick, 2 questions. A, what does this say about Impact? And B, does this all but confirm NXT's move?
Yes, and it proves that NXT. It proves that It proves that Impact thinks that they have something. And hell, if I don't think that they have something too, quite frankly. I really do. I think that Impact is doing something. They wouldn't have been able to compete with NXT. They have a lot of time before anything like that happens. Don't get me wrong. But damn, if they aren't trying and they don't want, NXT moving to Tuesday nights, which is inevitable. It's going to happen, people. Yeah. They might as well just announce it now. Exactly. I'm going to guess that they're going to wait until Stand and Deliver to announce it. Right. But yeah, listen, man, I'm going to make this short. I'm going to make this sweet. I think that Impact is doing something great. I think that they're doing great with Rich Swann, though I think that they're going to elevate their company even more when Kenny Omega wins their belt. And I'm excited. I do think that there is something going on between Impact and AEW beyond this partnership. I think that it says Khan on the receipt or the check, but it doesn't say Tony Khan. I don't know. I'm just, the Khan family is eventually going to ruin AEW. Like every family ruins their wrestling company except for the McMahons, I guess. I don't know. I'm not surprised by this move. But I think it's because they're doing well, and they don't want to ruin that momentum by having NXT ruin that. I
agree with a lot of what you just said. I think Impact does have something going for them. I think this is the first time in a long time, really, like the last year, Impact has gone on, and they're not the laughing stock. Excuse me, they're not the laughing stock of the wrestling world anymore. Impact used to be the butt of everybody's jokes. Not so much, not anymore. Impact, like they rebuilt their reputation. They have like fresh new faces on their weekly television, and they've been thriving on Tuesdays. And his AEW partnership for now has been thriving with them, or at least depending on who you ask. If you ask AEW peeps, it's great. If you ask the Impact folks, not so much. But either way, it's bringing eyes to the program, and Impact has been killing it. The pandemic did a lot of good, as messed up as that sounds for Impact. But
and by the way, it's basically been anything but confirmed. NXT is moving to Tuesdays. There's no doubt about that. Like it
So Impact, they jumped the gun and announced the move before NXT did. So
exactly.
Which
Impact was on Thursdays beforehand, though.
Yes.
So it's not the most jarring thing in the world to see that like that's happening.
Right.
Is all I'm trying to say.
So the fact that they moved to Thursdays implies that NXT is moving to Tuesdays. But like what you said, Nick, like Impact has their own voice. And why have competition? There's no wrestling show on Thursdays. Not even AEW. AEW has shows on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday now.
Right.
And there's no show on Thursday. There's no wrestling on Thursday. And now Impact is fulfilling that need. We get wrestling every day of the week now. Raw, NXT, Dynamite, Impact, SmackDown. That is crazy as hell. We haven't had that in a while. And I know like the Wednesday night wars that were never really a war because AEW stomped every week. But it like they didn't do a lot of good for NXT. I'm glad they're moving to Tuesdays. And with that, I'm glad Impact's moving as well. Like what you said, Impact has a voice. They have their own voice now, and they stick out amongst the bunch. And they have a talented group of people over there, whether it's like folks from AEW going on their shows, or you got folks from Impact going to New Japan shows. There's a lot of synergy going around, and Impact, I think, is benefiting the most because of it. New Japan didn't need it. AEW didn't need it. Impact, however, I wouldn't say needed it, but they definitely are super glad that people are out here signing some contracts and shaking some hands. So Impact moving to Thursdays is a big deal for me because not only do we get wrestling every day of the week, but maybe not I can actually watch an Impact.
Yeah. No, I mean, I am excited. I'm excited by this move. I mean, I think that it's going to open the door. I still think that there's something fishy going on here. I still think AEW is involved in this more than we think.
If Tony Khan if the Khan straight up purchase Impact, I don't know how the wrestling world will react to that. That would be interesting because that'd be like McMahon buying Impact. Remember, like the hubbub around that.
That was weird.
It was a weird time, but it was. I think that just because he doesn't have the same name power as Vince McMahon, like Vince is a household name. Tony Khan, not so much.
No.
But if Khan were to straight up buy Impact for whatever reason, I think we still get a lot of push and pull in regards to the reception. As of right now, there's not even an inkling of like, is Tony Khan going to buy Impact? We have no idea. It just makes
Has he already is the question.
Has he? Will he? How will they do it? We'll see. But Impact, they're doing great stuff. I'm glad no one's gonna mess with them now on Thursdays. I hope they keep their audience as well. And damn it, we get wrestling every day of the week, every day of the damn week. And on weekends we can take a break, unless it's Saturday.
Unless it's a freaking pay-per-view.
Yeah, like Saturday. Like AEW used to run pay-per-views on Saturdays, and obviously the WrestleMania or the pay-per-views on Sundays for WWE. We'll see. But the Impact move, you might be thinking to yourself at home, hey Chris, like couldn't we just bunch this up into the first one? Totally. We totally could have. But at the same time, I want to spotlight Impact because Impact deserves it, to be frank. Like they've been doing some incredible wrestling, and like having people like Kenny Omega on your program every week is a feather in your cap. I don't give a shit what he's doing on your show. Kenny Omega's on your damn program. And Kenny Omega has
I don't know what that was.
And Kenny has been he's slowly been becoming like the face of well, actually I'll take it this far. Kenny Omega is the face of independent wrestling, regardless of when AEW started. Kenny was the guy. When people talked about, I shouldn't say independent because that New Japan's not independent per se, but you know what I mean. Outside of North America, outside of WWE, Kenny Omega was the guy. And now recently, over the last, 6 months, Kenny Omega has been like a shooting star in AEW, for better or for worse, with his heel work or his face work, whatever the hell he's been doing. But I want to pose the question to you, Nick, and we'll talk about it in the third count. Who's had a better 2021, Roman Reigns or Kenny Omega? Let's talk about it. Kenny is the world champ over at AEW. Roman Reigns is
soon
world
to be
champ.
Impact world champion, by the way.
Soon to be Impact world champ. Roman Reigns is the Universal champ over on SmackDown for the WWE. Now, I know I just said 2021, but let's extend it a little bit further. Let's just say better championship reign. How about that? Kenny Omega or Roman Reigns? I'll start. I'll give you some time to think. Roman Reigns.
I know my answer, but
Roman Reigns has been on fire, on literal fire since SummerSlam when he showed back up, right?
Actually, The Fiend has been on literal fire.
The Fiend has been on literal fire. Roman Reigns, figurative fire.
Yes.
And Roman has he's been doing the best work of his career. I know Paul Heyman is a big part of that, but this Roman Reigns character, to me, up until recently, I'm starting to get a little bit tired of. I need something new with Roman. I'm not as invested in the Roman Edge stuff until Daniel Bryan showed up.
Well,
and I've said on the show, I've said on the show before that the Edge Roman stuff doesn't really. It's. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not as excited as I thought I would be. And that's just how the Roman character's been booked. Granted, he's been protected to shit for obvious good reasons. But to hop over to AEW, Kenny has been the shit, dude. Like Kenny, obviously his career is what his accolades define him in whatever company he's been a part of. Kenny Omega is one of the best wrestlers in the world, if not the best wrestler in the world, depending on who you ask. And Kenny's done some fantastic stuff. I love the heel turn. The heel turn was the best thing Kenny's done in AEW until the women's match, the lights out women's match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. But if I had to pick which one was better overall as of what's today? March 26, 2021. Better champion, Roman. Who will do more for the respective company? Kenny. 1,000%.
It's got to be Reigns. Just overall. Okay, so I liked Kenny Omega before. I did not like Roman Reigns before. And for me to have done a complete 180 on Roman Reigns steers me in that direction a bit more than Kenny, who could be a face, could be a heel. I'd enjoy whatever it is that he's doing.
Right.
That said, I think if Kenny Omega is your world champion, it already would have done enough. Now, obviously, it's beating NXT every single week. I would argue that Mox is the face of AEW. I don't know if that's controversial or not.
I would disagree, but I see where you're coming from.
I mean, I guess if there's somebody that they want to book around to be the person that the fans are going to love, it would be Heyman Page or Jon Moxley.
Sure.
That said, yes, I do agree that I feel like it is crazy. I feel like one is just the more narcissistic version of the other, if that makes any sense. They're both booked pretty much the exact same way, which is kind of weird. There's a few different things about both characters. And there's a hell of a lot of similarities. One, they're both smug assholes.
Yes.
Two, they both have a manager mouthpiece that you switch the two of them around and they do both just the same. Now, let's say that AEW's parent company right now is Impact. You have Kenny appearing on that parent company. It's not like Roman's appearing on NXT or, Raw. Now, it could eventually lead to that, and that's a worry of mine.
Please
but Roman, where on the other hand, they're both getting family mixed into it, because I would consider like the Young Bucks like Kenny Omega's family, and the Good Brothers like their family. You know what I mean? So
too sweet me.
So do I think Roman's doing better right now? Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like, though, Roman keeps finding... The thing is that they're booking him to find sneaky ways to win every single match. Now, that's probably what's getting old about it. Is when Roman re-debuted, it was, I'm going to beat the living shit out of you, and I don't care who the hell you are. Mm-hmm. Now it's starting to become, I'm going to beat the living shit out of you, you're going to come back slightly, and then I'm going to cheat to win the match.
Right.
Now, is there cheating in a Falls Count Anywhere match? Not really, but you get what I mean. Like, I can understand why you would feel as though the character is getting a little stale.
I'm not saying he's stale. It's not my...
Oh, Chris Anthony Lopez is afraid that he's going to be like, are you insulting my family? He's going to kick your ass.
So Superman punch you from off
screen.
And
then Paul Heyman's going to be like, boy, I'm from New York. I'll beat your ass.
Yeah, and Paul Heyman's going to be like, it looks like we came to the wrong podcast. Like, I came Charlie and shit. But no, with Roman, my thing is, I don't like how his whole thing with losses and wins is that when he wins, usually it's handily. When he wins, it's like screwy at the end where something happens. There's a ref bump. Jay gets involved. My PlayStation just turned off. And all these different things.
I hate when that happened during the last Roman Reigns match, by the way.
Right.
Your PlayStation turned off.
PlayStation turned off. It was the worst. But I just something about it. And when they did it at Fastlane, I was like, oh, again, and they got Edge involved. I'm like, oh, I know what they're trying to do. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited for that, but just come on now.
High spot.
But with Kenny here, since I know, we love the new Roman Reigns, but I want to talk about Kenny for a bit.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to discredit Kenny Omega. And there's an argument to be made that Kenny is the better champion. Like, I know, you can put Kenny with anybody. Like, to me, I think you can put Kenny Omega with any wrestler, and that match would at least be good. Roman,
Does being a better wrestler make you a better champion, though?
No, because it's all about how you're booked. It's definitely a factor, but it's not the entire thing. Those are two different conversations. Exactly. But, like, the Kenny stuff, that also can get tiresome too, because he's narcissistic to a fault. Like that's what the character is now. He embraces the fact that he's Kenny Omega for the first time in his whole career. He's like, I am Kenny Omega. I'm the shit. And that's why I gravitated towards that first. But now I'm just like, all right, like let's stop dragging the Bucks along and the Good Brothers. Like that's not. I don't want to make this a Bullet Club 2.0 thing, but I want to emphasize what Kenny is doing for AEW. You said that Mox to you is like the face of AEW. Mm-hmm. I would disagree and say Cody Rhodes is the face of AEW. He doesn't need a belt
ambassador, yeah.
Right. But if it's not Cody, I think you get Kenny up there. Not like face, heel, whatever the hell. He's a great wrestler. He's great on the mic. He doesn't need Don Callis. Is Don Callis helping him? Yes. Don Callis' presence is big, especially with the Impact stuff, right? So I love the Kenny things, and I think Kenny could be a household name at some point. I think Kenny could be a star not only in wrestling but on television. Like I know that it's hard to come across those nowadays. Roman Reigns is the closest thing we've gotten before the heel turn, to like a John Cena, a Randy Orton, whoever the hell, right? Rey Mysterio, like all these, like there are names that if I call my mom and be like, hey, do you know who Rey Mysterio is? Of course she's gonna know who that is. Do you know who Randy Orton is? Yeah. But if I ask her like, hey, you know who Kenny Omega is? I'm not saying she should watch Dynamite, but there will be a point where Kenny's out here doing press for AEW, where they're not sending Cody, they're sending Kenny.
Right.
And I don't know how Kenny is as a person. He may not like that stuff. But if you're the top dog or the big dog in your company, I think Kenny is doing more for AEW or for Dynamite, I should say, than Roman is for SmackDown. Like, and it's not to discredit Roman either. Roman's been some of the best stuff of SmackDown as of late in the last, I don't know, 6 months. But I think Kenny's just edging him out just a little bit more in regards to his impact, no pun intended, at AEW. But I do still pick Roman at the end of the day, being the better champion. I think his matches have been great as of late. I mean, the stuff with Daniel Bryan at Fastlane was like chef's kiss. And all of the – and I will let the Royal Rumble finish slide. I'll let that one go because that match was so much fun to watch. But like I think Roman will at some point whenever –
Oh, you're talking about – okay. You're talking about the Falls Count Anywhere or not?
It was
Last Man Standing match. I said that earlier. Yes. Okay. Well, one thing before we go into the high spot, because it ties into this. It ties into Roman.
Okay.
I'll say one thing about Kenny's character right now.
Okay.
Is it reminds me a lot, and I don't think it's going to feel like this to you, and I don't think it's going to feel like this to everybody. It just reminds me a lot of when AJ Styles became buddies with Ric Flair. In TNA. I'll call it TNA because that's what it was called at the time. But where he was booked to be, let's just say that like AJ was booked completely out of just himself, let alone character at that point.
Right.
That's just not AJ Styles. This is Kenny Omega. But like, I just remember that got old really quick. And I don't know if it's because AJ was so different from himself. Because even when AJ was a heel, he was still this kind of like, rednecky, family man type wrestler in Impact. This was like completely out of character for him. So maybe that's why I didn't like it as much.
Sure.
And a lot of people didn't.
Right.
By the way. Yeah. So this and by me saying it got old really quickly, I don't think that's where this is going to head for Kenny, but it could. Totally.
And at the same, I will also. I'm not going to use the same analogy, but the same thing, sort of the same thing, can be said for Roman.
Oh, right? For sure.
These things can get old really fast, and to me, I'm already starting to feel like, let's change something. Like, not the whole character doesn't need to change. I'm not saying you need to take Jay away from him, but let's add another element into this.
Well, remember my dream that I had after the Royal Rumble, where on the WWE Network, it literally said Roman Reigns drops head of the table gimmick. I'm like, what the hell kind of a dream is this? Chris Anthony Lopez doesn't want to watch the Royal Rumble with me. What is going on? I don't know if I ever mentioned that dream on the show.
No,
I had a lot of weird.
You definitely told me.
I told Chris.
You said we watched the Rumble together.
Yes, literally like sitting next to each other. And you were like, I don't want to watch this because we already know that Bianca Belair won the Women's Royal Rumble.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, she did. But for some reason, they're having a second one, Chris, so we need to watch it. And like, anyways, I talk about my weird wrestling dreams out here a lot. Did I ever? I mean, I mentioned I think I mentioned it on the show, my weird Edge Christian college campus match.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know what's wrong with me. But that said, Roman Reigns, there's a lot that happened at Fastlane. A lot that happened in this build up to WrestleMania. Oh boy. Hi, George.
Whose glasses did you steal? I stole bone saws. Okay, go ahead, Nick.
There's a lot that is being built into this WrestleMania match in a different direction that we thought it was going to go. So we're going to talk about it in this high spot because we brought up this We brought this up on the show before. I'll just leave it at that.
For those who don't know what a high spot is here on Wrestle Real, high spots are unpopular opinions, things we want to get off our chest. For better or for worse, usually it's when Chris comes and bitches about something. Spoiler alert, that's what's happening today. But Nick's going to go first. And
it's the same exact. Well, I imagine we're about to talk about the same thing, right?
Yours is.
Or do you have another one?
I have one.
Mine's. So let's. And I don't have the segment pulled. If I pulled the segment, then I was really ready for this. But oh wait, I do. Just kidding. You just got surprise Lesnar. I'm gonna go home. So here's the thing. Chris and I talked about the prospect of this before the Royal Rumble match even happened. That if Daniel Bryan was going to be added, okay, so it is the same thing.
No, it's not. We're not doing the same. No.
If Bryan Danielson was going to be added to the non-wrestling fans are going to be like, why do you say his name like that? That's actually his name, people. Right, if Bryan Danielson was added to the WWE Championship match or was going to face against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, he better have won the Royal Rumble. And then Edge wins the Royal Rumble, and we're going, oh, huh. So Roman, what's the plan for Daniel Bryan for this match? And I'm going, oh, well, okay. Where does Daniel Bryan fit in on this card? Does he have an incredible match with Big E for the Intercontinental Championship? No. They're already doing enough with Apollo. That makes sense for a WrestleMania match. Right. Maybe like add a little stipulation to it.
A little stippy step?
A little stippy step. Okay. Is he going to somehow end up on Raw? Are we going to have like a battle of the brands or something like that? Have Daniel Bryan represent SmackDown and face against somebody from Raw? No. Okay. Is he going to be facing Dominic Mysterio? I mean, come on. At this point, build something for Daniel Bryan. So he faces against Roman at Fastlane, right?
Yes.
And then Edge gets involved with the finish of the match.
Which you called, by the way.
Which I called, by the way. And now it's looking like we're going to get a triple threat match at WrestleMania. And to that I say, WWE, if this is going to be Daniel Bryan's last run with the WWE as a full-time wrestler, why didn't you have him win the Royal Rumble? You could add Edge to this match anywhere. Edge did not need to win the Royal Rumble if you were going to add Daniel Bryan anyways. We said this. We said this for weeks before. If it wasn't going to be Keith Lee, give the damn match to Daniel Bryan. If this is his last time as a full-time competitor, the man is on borrowed time with wrestling right now, and we are fucking thankful for it. Pardon my French. I said it. That's my second one. I'm sorry. I stole yours for this episode. But my goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Edge did not need to win his second Royal Rumble match. He didn't. Daniel Bryan should have won the Royal Rumble. If you were going to do anything, WWE, you messed this up so badly. Now, for all I know, I could be sitting here right now. Daniel Bryan is not going to be in this match. He's going to be in a dream match against Nakamura like I want. But instead, I'm looking at the only possible outcome for this match to be Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns versus Edge, where Daniel Bryan possibly pins Edge so Roman doesn't lose, or Edge pins Daniel Bryan so Roman doesn't lose. I know I'm shaky on that too, but think about it. They're adding another person into this match so Roman doesn't get pinned.
Right.
And it makes sense. I don't like it, but at that point, WWE, you dropped the ball. You could have literally, Edge could have still, Jey Uso could have been running his mouth and blah, 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 blah. Edge could have still been a special ring enforcer for something and gotten himself involved in this title picture, and we would be sitting here marking the hell out because Edge, Daniel Bryan, and Roman Reigns are in a match with each other. That to me is a better. I think I would be even more excited about this match if Edge was added to it. I would have been like, oh shit, Edge is in this match. Like, wow. But instead, I'm sitting here wondering why the WWE didn't have Daniel Bryan. And I understand. I'm getting impassioned about something. If you're watching the show right now and you think that I'm being a whiny bitch about something that's probably not important whatsoever, why are you watching this show? Yes, absolutely. And that's right, Jesse. It is about to get real. Here's the thing. If you think that I am like an impassioned mark right now, but you're not using the word mark, get off of our show. This is Wrestle Real. We're talking about wrestling. I just know that there's a lot of people who are probably tuning into this moment where I'm getting impassioned about Daniel Bryan being added to this match when the man's career is on borrowed time and he should have won the Royal Rumble.
You know how anti-Edge winning the Rumble was, or I was, and it was a whole thing. I agree with everything you just said. I think adding Edge to the match later instead of Daniel makes sense because now we have a repeat of the whole WrestleMania 30 build where something felt off. Daniel Bryan should have been in the match, and they regretted it 2 months later, and they added him in March. So you have a point, and I can't help but agree with you. Like that's yeah.
We appreciate you, Jesse. I'm just kidding around. I just know that like. I have had flashbacks for some reason of kids in high school making fun of me for watching wrestling, and fuck those kids. But it's just like, did I just drop my fourth one? I don't even care. I don't even care. Listen, I'm just making this really sorry. That's my fourth one.
So no, first of all, thanks Jesse for popping up in the chat. Second off, Nick, like I mentioned, I agree with everything you said. Nick, you nailed it right in the head, right in the dome piece, and I know SmackDown just started, so try to keep mine as contained as possible. Yesterday. What was yesterday? Yesterday was Thursday. Thursday, I had a lot going on yesterday. I got vaccinated yesterday.
Congratulations.
That was a good day, I watched my homies on Really Scared yesterday. That was a lot of fun. Played some video games with the homies. That was a lot of fun. But there's one thing that really bugged me about last night. Really bugged me. And it was courtesy of Cage Side Seats. Cage Side Seats. Now, this great, reputable wrestling outlet. I love Cage Side Seats. I do. I go to Cage Side Seats all the time. They have great content. They have great articles. But there's one that really rocked my world and bothered the hell out of me.
Okay.
I'm gonna read the tweet in verbatim because I'm not gonna call out the writer because that's too much. The tweet said with the link to the article, and I quote: "Banks and Belair need Flair to be in the main event of WrestleMania."
Boom.
So their angle, I will state this ahead of time. Their angle was that the card was too stacked, and Bianca and Banks they need Flair to properly be the main event. I get where they're coming from, but no, the hell they don't. They don't need Charlotte. And I know this person's trying to say Charlotte Flair is like the biggest star in the company right now in regards to women, one of the biggest stars overall in the company. Like I don't blame you for having that thought to add Charlotte to the match. But Banks and Belair, like it's two black women that happen to be great wrestlers and great characters, and they're going to main event night one. I would prefer the main event night one. I'm not saying main event night two. That's going to be the triple threat that Nick just propositioned. Lashley and McIntyre, if anything, should open the mother trucking show. Because is Lashley going to retain? Probably. So nothing crazy needs to happen. Like, if you want to push Bianca, if you want to have this next great women's star in your company, Banks doesn't need that belt right now. Her and Bianca can wrestle for the rest of the damn year. Bianca, after winning the Royal Rumble, Like, and Nick and I bitch on the show all the time how the winner of the Rumble doesn't always main event the show. There's 4 main events. 4.
Right.
Like, we don't need 4. Like, the person who won the Rumble, the Women's Rumble, should main event at least one of the nights, damn it.
If they're going to do 2 nights, it makes sense.
Right. And it should be Bianca and Banks. Not only will they have an incredible match, I will put this out there. I know Nick and I aren't doing WrestleMania predictions yet, but Banks and Belair, regardless of what night they're on, they'll have the best match of the night. That is my guess. Because these 2 women they're going to bring their all, knowing the historical context of what they're doing. When is the last time a black woman main evented a pay-per-view? Let alone 2 black women against each other. And I know I sound like King Diversity, but damn it, I am. Like I'm
not mad at that.
No, I'm not saying you are, but
right. I'm
like,
not just like I don't think it. I think it totally should.
This match, there's so much history behind it, and I know Nick just at the top of the show he gave us all these wrestlers who are some of the best women of all time in regards to WWE and WCW or whatever their presence was in the WWE family, but Banks and Bianca, more so Bianca now because she's so green and so new to the company, at least the main roster. Like she could be one of the best, and damn it, I have so much faith in both of these women, both Banks and Belair, to put on a great match. They'll have one of the best matches of the whole weekend. Like their styles complement each other so much. The story's already there. I know they'll probably develop it even more so on SmackDown right now. But damn it, they should main event at least. They will main event night 1. They should main event night 1. They don't need anything. They don't need anything. Like Lashley and McIntyre, the match is going to be awesome. These 2 beefy men punching each other. I can't wait to see it. It should open the show on night 1, especially if McIntyre doesn't regain the belt. If Lashley's going to go over again, like, shit, give them half an hour. Give them 25 minutes still. That's why you got 2 nights. But they don't need to main event. They don't. And frankly, if you're telling me that Lashley McIntyre as of right now has a better build than Bianca Sasha,
it doesn't. It's terrible. No, there's no build.
Like, I get it. The Roman Edge, soon to be Bryan stuff is great.
He's already coming out on SmackDown saying that Roman tapped. So that's literally your moment right there. He's in the match. I'm sorry. I'm calling it.
So that's gonna be a thing. That will main event night 2. That will main event the whole damn weekend. But night 1, since we split the damn thing into 2, Bianca Sasha, there's no way in hell McIntyre Lashley has a better build. Like if you think otherwise, like I'm sorry, but how McIntyre going up and saying I'm next? Like, no, that's not it. He just got done facing Sheamus in some great matches. Shit, why hasn't Sheamus been thrown into this match? We're out here doing triple threats. Like, no. Belair,
like,
Banks.
You're wrong.
And maybe I'm biased because I love Bianca Belair and I love Sasha Banks. But like, damn it. They don't need anything. They don't need Charlotte Flair. They don't need Becky Lynch. They don't need Ronda Rousey. They don't need Alundra Blaze. They don't need Mickie James. They don't need AJ Lee. They don't need anybody. They're good enough on their own. They will main event night 1. And if they don't, I'll come on the show and cry about it for an hour and a half. Just how we just did everything else. But, Nick.
Oh, boy. I forgot about the banner. We've been going into this. I usually pull the banner when I think that it's over. But, man, oh, man, have we been going hard. I love it.
I love that's the point of the high spot. When Wrestle Reel incorporated the high spot of their show, it was meant for. We're 2 passionate wrestling fans who love watching the weekly programming. And do you get to watch everything? No, we don't. But damn it, we are passionate about the things that we do get to check out. Before we wrap, because SmackDown is on television right now, we don't want to run over it too much. Nick Mulbach, did we miss anything?
I don't think that we did. Just remember where you were when we called out that Daniel Bryan will be added to this match. Whether he wins it or not, I don't know. Apparently, he's going to get a rematch again, or he wants a rematch. He wants to earn it. He wants a rematch tonight, but I still think that means that he's going to be added to this match, right? I mean,
presumably.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Bryan has no other plan.
It makes sense. That's the issue.
What's Bryan going to do if he doesn't do this?
Nakamura, give me it now.
Okay.
Give me a rematch. Give me a match for the WWE champ or the Universal Championship of Nakamura versus Daniel Bryan. I don't care if I know that Daniel Bryan's going to lose or win. Give me what I want. Sorry.
Give me what I want.
I need to pull that. Like, that needs to be a thing because like there's so much that we want out of wrestling, but give me what I want.
Right.
But that said,
yes, thank you so much to everyone who's watched Wrestle Real. Whether you watched it live or you watched it after the fact, thank you so much. Make sure you follow our social medias down at the bottom at C Anthony Lopez. For me on Twitter at Nick Mulfilm, MUHLFILM on Twitter, and then our Instagram's right there, Molbox Cinema and C_Anthony Lopez for Nick and I on Instagram. If there's anything, if you have any thoughts on what we just said or on our high spots, let us know in the comments. We'd really appreciate it. Like the video, subscribe to our channel. Watts Real Entertainment, WAT Real Entertainment. We have a lot of fun stuff going on here on the channel. I think I'll be back on the channel in a couple hours, talking some more Schmodown. But Monday, Spin from the Real, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. It's Matt Thomas and I's movie trivia Schmodown after show. You can catch Really Scared every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Catch Wrestle Real, of course, every Friday, 5 to 5:30. I apologize for the 5:30 start time. Central, that was my bad.
Dude, we got through it.
Yes, and Real Talk every Sunday. This Sunday, catch Real Talk, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Special
guest Tyler Thomas, the Cleveland film community. Just wanted to mention that because I don't think that there's a thumbnail yet.
But we have a lot of great stuff coming and more stuff coming as well. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, let us know what you think of Bryan joining the triple threat or joining a potential triple threat at WrestleMania, and Banks Belair wrestling night one, main eventing night one at WrestleMania. So for the Ayatollah of rock and rolla, Nick Molbach, my name is the road to WrestleMania Thinny Lopez. I had that in the beginning. I messed it up right here. And this has been another episode of Wrestle Real. Thank you guys. Bye.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.